Yeah. So hi, this is Srinivas working as a big data solution architect. I have 20 plus years of experience over IT, out of which 9 to 10 years experience in big data analytics. Okay. So I just want to give you a brief idea about what is Hadoop and who has to learn Hadoop. So what are the opportunities in a Hadoop environment? Why Hadoop is required when there are more technologies like Java, .NET, mainframes. So there are many, plenty of technologies like this, right? So I'll just start with Hadoop introduction. Okay. So Hadoop is one kind of framework. It's one kind of framework. It's one kind of technology similar to mainframe technology, Java technology, .NET technology, or SAP or data warehousing. So Hadoop is also technology. But why Hadoop is required? What is the need for Hadoop? Okay, so let's start with my presentation. Let me open my presentation. We know that we have worked with numerical data, limited amount of data, transactional data, relational data, and most of us worked in SDLC, right? We all know that we worked in numerical data, limited amount of data, transactional data, relational data, and SDLC process. And these are all the different technologies what we have right now. Of course, there are many other new technologies apart from these technologies, which I have not mentioned here, right? So these are the project used technologies. Apart from these technologies, what is a new technology, a new domain we are going to work in? So there is a buzzword that these technologies are going to be limited in usage, or these technologies will become small. How these technologies are going to be limited in usage, these technologies will be small. Let's see that. Okay. Here we know that the data, numerical data, limited amount of data, right? Then one side, if you see, the data is getting increased exponentially. That is gigabytes of data, terabytes of data, petabytes of data, then exabytes of data. Other side, it is also increasing the data variety as well as complexity. Data variety as well as complexity. I'll explain what is a variety and what is a complexity. Don't worry now. So one side the data volume is getting increased, other side data variety and complexity is getting increased. And we all worked with ERP related data, CRM related applications, then web based applications. Now the time has to work on different type of data. What is that data? We are going to talk about big data. Let's see that. Okay. So also we worked in an environment called client server environment. Most of the people who are already into IT are aware of client and server technologies, client and server architecture, right? So there will be multiple clients connected to the single server and store the data and do computations on a server, right? So but here in the client server technology, there are a lot of limitations. The one major limitation is storage capacity. Another limitation is computation capacity. As the amount of data is getting increased, data storage cannot be increased. The computations are also cannot be increased. In case if you want to increase, either you replace this server or increase the storage and computation capacity by adding hardware. That is going to increase the capital cost. And at some point, this is going to reach to unmanageable situation. To resolve that issue, we have something called a cluster. We have something called cluster. What is a cluster here? The cluster is nothing but multiple computers placed in a network, connected each other, where the data will get distributed to multiple machines. Not only data, even computations are also distributed to multiple machines and do parallel computation. All these machines are going to do computations parallelly. These machines are called nodes. We can have any number of machines. All these machines put together is called a cluster. This cluster can be created on premise, or you can go to any space, buy a computers, put it in a network, connect all the machines. That can be called as on-premise cluster. Or I don't want to maintain this entire infrastructure, hardware, all these things. Then fine, no issues. You can go for a cloud. So there are many cloud companies like AWS, Azure, GCP, Google Cloud Platform. They provide your cluster environment based on your requirement or cluster size. Your cluster size can be measured based on number of machines. For example, if you have 10 machines, 10 node cluster, 20 machines, 20 node cluster, 30 machines, 30 node clusters. So like this, you keep measuring the cluster size. But what is advantage of this cluster? Cluster size can be increased or decreased based on the requirement. You can add machines, you can remove machines. For example, today your business is very small. You can start with a few machines. So data is getting increased. Your products is getting sold every day, every hour, every minute. Your business is getting increased. Of course, data is also getting increased. You'll have to capture all that data and store in your machine. In that case, you start increasing the number of machines to your cluster. So cluster size can be increased and decreased with no time. So that is the advantage of cluster. Finally, we understood that the cluster is nothing but distributed storage, distributed computation, and parallel processing. Three activities: distributed storage, distributed computation, parallel processing environment, right? The cluster can be created on premise, on cloud. So now that is the reason the most of the people migrating client server application to cluster environment, right? So now we have a fair idea about a cluster and how to work with the cluster, right? So we know that every product, every person, every company, every service across the globe connected to digital world, right? So whatever the object you see physically, tomorrow you will see that object is connected to digital world. That's where we talk about IoTs, Internet of Things. Once your object or your product, people, company, services connected to digital world, they start generating data. They start generating data. So in a minute, most of you know that there are many things are happening. There are 600 plus new videos are getting uploaded, 70 plus new domains are getting created, 168 million emails are being sent across the globe. Think about hour, think about day, think about week, think about month, think about year. It's a huge amount of data getting generated by all these applications tools what you see on the screen. So all these tools, applications are generating huge amount of data. That data we call it as a big data. That data we call it as a big data. So big data is not a technology. Data, big data, both are same, but data is limited only numerical data, only one variety. But big data is a collection of data sets which are so large. Large means cannot be stored in a single machine, beyond a single machine, and very complex in nature. That is unstructured, semi-structured data. So unstructured means your video related data, audio related data, image related data, or any chart scripts or any blogs data. Okay, any kind of data which you cannot understand directly, that is unstructured data. Semi-structured data, example your XML files or Excel files, these are all semi-structured, right? And it is very difficult to process such a huge amount of data by using these are the three areas. The one is storage, another one is analytics, another one is visualization. These are the major three challenges of big data. Either you are a big data architect or Hadoop developer or big data solution architect, are big data developer, you have to work in these three areas only, right? So these are all the different data types, as I told you: unstructured, semi-structured, multi-structured, real-time data, natural language process data, time series data, event related data, right? Unstructured data getting generated from emails, GPS, blogs, mobile data, PDF files, web data, forums, website contents, photos, click streams, right? So all these are part of unstructured data. Across the globe, 80% unstructured data, 20% structured data. So 20% structured data we have been working on the different databases like MySQL, Oracle, DB2. So there are a couple of tables, relational tables also. Now the time has come to work on unstructured data. So whenever you want to store, one of the challenges of big data is whenever storage. Whenever you want to store big data, you require some data lake. That's kind of data warehouse. This data lake can be built on premise or on cloud, AWS cloud, Azure cloud, Google cloud, Database cloud, right? Any of these clouds. If you say data lake will contain variety of data, high volume data, on different types of data, high volume data, large amount of data. So once you store data, you analyze the data. After analysis, you showcase the results, the visualization, right? So these are the major three challenges of big data. Every data cannot be called as a big data. So big data is nothing but high volume, high velocity, different variety, and with veracity, uncertainty of data. That data we call as big data. In layman terms, we call it as uh, greater than terabytes of data, big data, like a petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, terabyte, browntobyte, geobyte. Here, to make you understand, one zettabyte is nothing but one CD to every person across the globe. So already more than 40 zettabyte of data got generated. 2020, now we are at 2020, 40 zettabyte, more than 40 zettabyte of big data got generated. In fact, because of lockdown, there is a huge, the data has got doubled, a huge amount of data got generated as many people sitting at home accessed many digital applications, okay, digital platforms. By 2025 we are definitely going to see close to 200 zettabyte of data, right? So but how do you build a big data lake? What is the technology used to build a big data lake? The technology is called Hadoop. The technology is called Hadoop. Hadoop is a framework, as I told you in the beginning. It's a one kind of framework which contains a number of components like HDFS, HBase, Hive, Cassandra, MapReduce, Pig. These are all the different components. The Hadoop first will be used as a storage. When you say storage, we have HDFS, we have HBase, we have Hive, we have Cassandra. Why these different databases? When you say HDFS, it is Hadoop distributed file system. It is mainly meant for unstructured data or semi-structured data. It is a distributed file system. But why do we need to go for Hive? Hive is mainly meant for structured data in a distributed environment. It is almost similar to MySQL, DB2, Oracle. But what about HBase and Cassandra? These are the NoSQL databases. NoSQL means not only SQL databases or columnar databases. These two databases are used where there is a dynamic schema, where schema is not static. So this is about database, data storage, which are part of Hadoop component. Hadoop can also be used as a computation, like a MapReduce, Pig, Hive query language, Scoop. Of course, there are other components also, but these are more frequently used components. So now when we say Hadoop, Hadoop can be used as a storage as well as computation. Now in this course, I'm going to focus more on only Hadoop. This course is mainly meant for people who wants to become a Hadoop developer, So in other courses we will also see Spark, Scala, Python, or machine learning statistics. I'm not going to talk about those courses. Okay, fine. So now what is Hadoop? Hadoop is one technology, or it is a framework which is mainly meant for big data analysis, big data storage, big data analytics, big data visualization, in which we have HDFS, HBase, Hive, Cassandra, MapReduce, Pig, and Scoop. These are all the different components what we have, right? So Hadoop is invented by Doug Cutting. Hadoop is invented by Doug Cutting. Okay, so I hope you understand what is big data and how big data got generated, what are the sources of big data, and what is Hadoop, and what are the opportunities for Hadoop, why you should learn for Hadoop. So remember, every company is into now digital world. Every company wants to sell their products, their services, their people, sell globally. When you want to sell everything, anything globally, you have to connect to digital media. That is only the possible way right now to sell your products. Whenever you are connecting to digital, obviously there will be a huge amount of data will get generated. Whenever there is a huge amount of data, you have to process the data. For processing the data, you will be using a Hadoop framework. So here I say small company to big company, every company is having a job opportunities. So if you are a fresher, or if you are a entry level programmer, or you already have a 3 years of experience in other domain, if you want to come to Hadoop, so just learn Hadoop, the component storage components, computation components, and start applying for jobs. So I'm going to cover very deep Hadoop modules with hands-on. So definitely there will be a guaranteed transformation, okay, from my courses. Doesn't matter which background you are coming from, no prerequisites required to learn Hadoop, remember that. So no other technical knowledge is required. Anybody can learn Hadoop and can go for new job opportunities, can change your life. Of course there are very high salaries being offered by different companies. There is a lot of job opportunities getting created at the same time, shortage of people. So you also say that there are many people learning Hadoop, but many people are learning Hadoop. The only theoretical concepts, basic concepts, are just overview of it, not the expert level. So to get opportunity in multinational company or small company, you got to be expert. You should be able to deliver the task. You should be able to get into the project and work on project. So I'm going to train in that level. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my Hadoop demo. I'll stop here. Okay, thank you very much.